They said no sunlight had touched that hill for centuries. Locals warned people to stay away, but when three friends climbed it out of curiosity, they uncovered something darker than night itself. The locals had a name for it, Deadman's Hill, not because anyone was buried there, but because nothing living dared to go near it. Even on the brightest days, the place stayed wrapped in shadow, as if the sun itself refused to touch its soil. Farmers said their crops withered when planted too close. Hikers who strayed near claimed they felt cold hands brushing their arms. But for three friends, Mika, Rika, and Dakota, it was the perfect place for a dare. "Come on," Dakota grinned as they stood at the trailhead. "No one's ever died here. It's just old ghost stories." Mika adjusted her backpack uneasily. "Then why doesn't the sun hit it? Look, it's noon. The whole valley's lit up except that hill." Rika laughed nervously. Maybe the trees are too thick, but even she didn't believe her words. The hill loomed ahead like a black scar on the landscape, its outline jagged against the bright sky. Birds circled wide to avoid it. No wind moved through its branches. Still, they went. The air changed as soon as they stepped onto the path. The warmth of the summer day vanished, replaced by a biting chill. Dakota tried to laugh it off. "Guess it's free air conditioning," but Mika kept glancing behind them. "It feels like we're being watched." Halfway up, they noticed the trees, their trunks twisted unnaturally, bent as though straining away from the hilltop. Every branch was bare, though it was the middle of summer. "Maybe we should go back," Mika whispered. "No way," Dakota said, though even his voice had lost its cocky edge. "We're almost there." Then the whispering started. At first it was the sound of leaves rustling, but there were no leaves. The whispers grew clearer, a chorus of voices, soft and desperate. "Turn back. Leave, before it wakes." Rika grabbed Mika's hand. "You hear that too, right?" Before they could respond, the ground beneath them shifted. Roots broke through the dirt, snaking like living things across the trail. Dakota stumbled back, flashlight beam darting. "That's not normal," Mika hissed. They tried to retreat, but the path they had climbed was gone. Behind them, the hill had reshaped itself, rocks where the trail had been, brambles closing in. "It won't let us leave," Rika whispered, panic in her eyes. The whispers grew louder. This time, they weren't warnings. They were mocking. "Closer, climb higher, feed the hill." With no other choice, they pressed upward. The higher they climbed, the darker it grew. Even their flashlights seemed weaker, swallowed by shadows. Mika swore something was moving at the edges of the beam-elongated figures with too many limbs, sliding just out of sight. At the summit, they found it. A stone altar stood in the center, cracked and weathered with age. Strange symbols covered its surface, still glowing faintly as if freshly carved. Around it were bones, animal bones, human bones, arranged in spirals. "This is wrong," Mika whispered, but Dakota stepped closer. "Guys, look at this. It's ancient, maybe hundreds of years old." The ground trembled. From the altar rose a shadow, taller than the trees, shapeless but heavy with hunger. Two red eyes opened in the dark, fixing on them. The whispers became a roar. "You climbed. You belong." Dakota froze, rooted in terror. The shadow's tendrils reached for him. Rika screamed and yanked Mika's arm. "Run!" They bolted, stumbling down the opposite side of the hill. But the path twisted beneath them, stretching endlessly. Every turn led back toward the altar. The shadow pursued, its shape blotting out what little light remained. Mika swung her flashlight at it, but the beam bent, swallowed whole. "Rika, this way!" Mika shouted, dragging her friend toward a break in the rocks. They squeezed through, scraping skin and tearing clothes. Dakota's scream echoed behind them, long, cut short. Then silence. When they dared to look back, he was gone. The shadow didn't chase them further. It lingered at the summit, watching. Its red eyes burned even as they scrambled out of the hill's grasp. They didn't stop running until the warmth of the sun returned, until the green of the valley surrounded them again. But Mika couldn't shake the feeling that the shadow hadn't let them go. That night she dreamt of the hill, of Dakota standing at the altar, eyes glowing red, whispering in that same chorus of voices, "Feed the hill, join us." When she woke, her window was open, and on the sill sat a stone from the summit, marked with the same glowing symbols. The hill had followed her home, and the sun would never shine for her again.